Grace Kelly's journey from Hollywood royalty to actual royalty began when she married Prince Rainier III of Monaco, but her married life was far more complex than the fairy tale it appeared to be. In 1955, while attending the Cannes Film Festival in France, Kelly agreed to a magazine cover shoot with Prince Rainier III. According to biography, she briefly visited the Prince's Palace of Monaco for the photo shoot before returning to Cannes. Her friend, actress Olivia de Havilland, recalled Kelly being in a state of enchantment. At the time, however, Kelly was already engaged to fashion designer Oleg Cassini. When she called off the engagement, Cassini reportedly remarked that Kelly was marrying Prince Rainier because it was the best script that she ever received in life. Although Kelly embraced the role of a lifetime as Princess of Monaco, her marriage would later reveal its challenges. According to the book Once Upon a Time Behind the Fairy Tale of Princess Grace and Prince Rainier, Kelly hinted that her marriage might not have entirely been her choice. She reportedly confided in a friend, "Do you realize if my mother hadn't been so difficult about Oleg Cassini, I probably would have married him? That one decision changed my entire future." The marriage between Grace Kelly and Prince Rainier III of Monaco, while not officially arranged, has often been shrouded in speculation. According to the book Once Upon a Time, Grace hinted that her parents may have pushed her to marry the prince. But why would a royal family be so invested in such a union? At the time, Monaco's independence agreement with neighboring France stipulated that the city-state would revert to French control. If the Grimaldi family failed to produce an heir, as detailed in Grace Kelly, The Secret Life of a Princess, prior to meeting Grace, Prince Rainier had been in a relationship with a French actress who could not have children. To prevent the same issue from affecting the royal lineage, Grace Kelly, famously the star of Rear Window, underwent a physical examination to ensure she could bear heirs. Following the exam and the provision of a staggering $2 million dowry, Grace and Rainier courted for only 2 weeks before he proposed. While the marriage had undeniable political undertones, it was also an economic strategy. Film producer Robert Evans, in his autobiography The Fat Lady Sang, claimed that the idea was orchestrated by Aristotle Onassis, who advised Rainier that the right bride could do for Monaco's tourism what the coronation of Queen Elizabeth did for Great Britain. As expected, the 1956 royal wedding between Prince Rainier III and Grace Kelly became a global spectacle. The wedding of Grace Kelly and Prince Rainier III was a highly publicized affair, capturing global attention. According to Vanity Fair, nearly 2,000 reporters attended the ceremony, and MGM filmed the event, broadcasting it live to over 30 million European viewers. While a royal wedding is always a significant event, the historical timing and grandeur of this occasion made it truly iconic. Years later, their son Prince Albert reflected on the event, telling people, "It was such an incredible affair, and it's left such a mark on people. What it's meant for Monaco, for people around the world, and how their story continues to fascinate people, that's something unimaginable." Although many hailed it as the wedding of the century, Grace Kelly reportedly referred to it as the carnival of the century, according to Vanity Fair. Prince Albert also acknowledged his mother's nervousness during the celebrations, sharing with People, "Mom said it was overwhelming. It was so exhausting when they left on their honeymoon and got on the boat. They both just kind of passed out from exhaustion and had a good night's sleep before they got on with enjoying their honeymoon the next day." And then he closed the door with all of their memories, and all of them drove away. Grace Kelly's flourishing career in the mid-1950s made her one of Hollywood's most sought-after stars. In 1954, she achieved significant milestones, including her first Academy Award nomination and a Golden Globe win. Around the same time, she signed a 7-year contract with MGM and began collaborating with legendary director Alfred Hitchcock, whom she considered a friend and mentor. The following year, she won an Academy Award for her role in Country Girl, cementing her status as a Hollywood icon. Reflecting on that period, Grace once said, "When I was acting, my private life was very much my own." However, her 1956 marriage to Prince Rainier III brought an abrupt end to her thriving Hollywood career. According to Once Upon a Time Behind the Fairy Tale of Princess Grace and Prince Rainier, she would often invite her A-list friends to Monaco, but Rainier was uncomfortable with the informality, particularly when they referred to her as Gracie rather than using her royal title. This tension between Grace and Rainier was depicted in the 2014 film Grace of Monaco, starring Nicole Kidman. For Grace, the transition from actress to princess came at a significant personal cost. In a 1964 interview with the Los Angeles Times, she admitted, "I miss acting bug. You never really get over it." She added, "I don't feel as though I achieved enough in my career to stand out more than many other people." Unfortunately, Prince Rainier disapproved of her returning to acting, once publicly stating, "I don't want my wife to work," as reported by Kinfolk. Even later in life, Grace struggled to find personal fulfillment. Biographer James Spada told the South Florida Sun-Sentinel, "I feel that the prince contributed to her unhappiness in later life. He was not an emotionally giving person. He did not let her live her own life." Grace sought creative outlets, such as her annual poetry readings, but Rainier's lack of support was evident. He reportedly did not attend these readings for several years. In the mid-1970s, Grace Kelly was presented with a chance to reconnect with her former life in Hollywood. In 1976, her former agent Jay Cantor reached out with an offer from 20th Century Fox for Grace to serve as the first woman on the studio's board. To Cantor's surprise, Grace accepted the position. Her primary motivation for joining the board was the opportunity to re-engage with show business. The meetings, held in Los Angeles or New York, provided her a reason to travel. As quoted in Kinfolk, Grace explained, "It gets me away from Monaco at least 4 times a year. This role gave her a small but meaningful connection to the industry she had left behind." Despite their seemingly fairy tale romance, Grace Kelly and Prince Rainier III's marriage was fraught with challenges, including alleged extramarital affairs. Biographer Wendy Lay claimed that within a month of their wedding, Rainier had been involved with at least 3 other women, leaving Grace deeply humiliated and unhappy. In her book, True Grace, Lay revealed, "Grace was humiliated and she was extremely unhappy." Despite these personal struggles, Grace and Rainier shared a family life together, raising their 3 children, Prince Albert, Princess Caroline, and Princess Stephanie. Despite their glamorous life, the family dynamics within the Grimaldi household were strained. Princess Caroline revealed in Albert II of Monaco, The Man and the Prince, that she and her brother Albert were closer to their nanny Maureen than their parents during their early years. "For my brother and I, Maureen was the key figure in our life," she explained, highlighting the emotional distance between the children and their royal parents. Prince Albert, however, seemed to have a stronger bond with his mother, Grace. He shared with People that it must have been difficult for her to adapt to the strict expectations of royal life, especially early on. "Coming to live here and having to behave in a certain way must have been hard for her at first," he said. As for Prince Rainier, he reportedly regretted not being more emotionally available for his children during their formative years. The Chicago Tribune quoted him as saying, "My only regret is to have not been available enough to take care of my children during their tender years, and it is too late to make up for lost time." After Grace Kelly transitioned from silver screen legend to Princess Grace of Monaco, many believed that the move to the small, wealthy microstate led to a deep sense of depression. In High Society, The Life of Grace Kelly, it's revealed that she once told a reporter, "I don't expect to be happy, and I don't look for happiness." Though not constantly depressed, Grace had bouts of sadness and loneliness. In a 1982 interview with 20/20, she shared the challenges of adapting to her new life, particularly in Mediterranean countries, which, she said, don't accept change very easily. Her experience of marrying into royalty has often been compared to that of Princess Diana. Interestingly, the 2 women crossed paths during their lifetimes. Lady Diana once recalled in Diana Her True Story, in her own words, meeting Princess Grace, describing her as wonderful and serene. But she also observed there was troubled water under her. "I saw that." Much like the British royal family, Prince Rainier III and Grace Kelly struggled with a lack of privacy, constantly hounded by paparazzi. According to Grace Kelly, Hollywood dream girl, Grace often spoke about her desire for more personal time, saying the one thing that she would talk about was time. She wanted privacy. She didn't fully realize how rare it would be for her to have one-on-one time with her husband. At the time of their wedding, Monaco wasn't the glamorous destination it is now, with basic amenities like plumbing and electricity still rooted in the 19th century, and even the telephones barely functioning. Biographer Jeffrey Robinson described Monaco as being far from the luxurious place it's often seen as today. This sudden shift in lifestyle, combined with the constant scrutiny of her personal life, contributed to the challenges and exhaustion in their marriage. The paparazzi didn't just target Grace and Rainier, but also their children. Grace shared in a 1982 20/20 interview that her daughter Stephanie would hide in the trunk of their car to avoid being followed to her gymnastics classes. After Grace's tragic death in 1982, many shared stories about the difficulties in her marriage, yet it's also clear that she might have embraced her new family and royal life after leaving Hollywood.